Lagos State is set to introduce a new dazzling project called Omi Eko, which aims to transform the way we move on water, bringing an innovative and sustainable transport solution that's set to redefine inland water travel. Launched by the dynamic Lagos State Waterways Authority, LASWA, this groundbreaking initiative is kicking off in 2025 with the full vision realized by 2030. With an impressive funding package of 410 million euros, Omi Eko is backed by renowned international partners, including the French Development Agency, AFD, the European Union, and the European Investment Bank. The Lagos State government is throwing its weight behind this project too, alongside contributions from the private sector, ensuring that the journey to a better transportation future is fully funded and future-ready. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is passionate about Omi Eko, calling it a legacy project that aligns perfectly with the Lagos State Climate Action Plan 2020 to 2025. This initiative is a great game changer for public transport, offering an eco-friendly, efficient alternative to traditional road travel. Joining us on the show to discuss the Omi Eko project and how it will change water transportation in Lagos is Oluwadamilola Emmanuel, Special Advisor to the Governor of Lagos State on Blue Economy. Good morning, Mr. Dami Emmanuel, and great to see you on the show this morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here this morning.
All right,
I must say this before we quickly start. Lagos keeps leading the way. I mean, you guys, no, this is another.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Did you just say thank you? I said that tongue in cheek. Obviously, I'm a proud Lagosian, and I think in particular,
when we see Beatties, we say it, you know. But when I see Batty, I say it. So this is a good one.
I think in particular, the waterways has been incredible under your leadership in the last few years, and we've given you commendation a number of times on the show as well, and so it's great to see this new initiative as well. Brilliant. So what is the Omi Eko project?
Well, thank you so much once again for being here. I'm happy to be here. So the Omi Eko project really is to formalize water transportation in Lagos State. Currently, as we have it, water transportation is largely dominated by the informal sector. And what we intend to do with the Omi Eko project is now fully formalize it, just like the way you have the BRT system. In Lagos before, you know, we had the motorways, we had the downfalls, and all of a sudden the BRTs have come and play. And we've also seen the blue line and the red line as well, which is also the rail service. So the whole idea of Omi Eko is to ensure that we can drive sustainable investment, and it's a blended investment of both foreign investment and local investment, but largely a foreign investment initiative, which will see the influx of over 70 electric ferries. It's going to see the upgrade of 20 jetties and terminals. It's going to see the dredging of 140 kilometers of the inland water, which is about 70% of the inland waterways in Lagos State. It's also going to see capacity building for all the stakeholders, including LASWA, who is the implementing agency. And most importantly, also a fund for the existing local boat operators, because when this kind of initiatives happen, what usually happens is that you leave out the local boat operators, and then they're struggling, and then they keep going on, kick them out, and then they start fighting the system. But we have a fund which is going to ensure that we take care of that.
And as you're speaking about that, give us details. How do you intend to incorporate the informal sector into Omi Eko? Nobody's losing jobs, nobody's losing businesses. How do we get everybody into the ecosystem?
So the first thing first is that I'm sure you've never heard of any strike on the inland waterways, because we have robust stakeholder engagements with them constantly. But what we told them to go and do was, because they were all individual operators. I mean, there's no way. There are about 356 of them. We're like, there's no way anybody's going to support you this way. So what we got them to do is go form cooperatives. So now, as I speak today, they formed 4 cooperatives. So it's those 4 cooperatives we would deal with as Lagos State, to ensure that these cooperatives are then the ones that are able to then operate the jetties and also the ferries, which this Omi Eko project is going to also purchase.
So you know, how is this going to integrate, you know, with, you know, the modes of transportation? I know it's under the team's agenda, and that's why I was, you know, clapping my hands and all of that. But secondly, apart from, you know, the infrastructure build, the jetty, you know, revamp, the investment in this sector, pretty much, what would be that modeling be? The investment in the players in the sector already, how would they be giving that money? Would it be a business by business equity structure kind of thing? then there's also the need for actual intercity lighthouses. Because I used to commit I used to come to work via the boat a lot many years ago. So I don't see a lot of, that lightening of the waterways and for night travel and the likes and things like that. So will this also be on the cowrie card platform where, you just buy one ticket, fits all and everything, and it goes part of that team's agenda, the multimodal, boat agenda?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look at Marina and Mile 2, as we speak right now, Lamata, who is the agency which regulates rail and bus, is currently building 2 big interchanges in Mile 2 and Marina.
Good stuff.
So that interchange basically means that with your cowrie card, if I come from Ikorodu, for example, I can get to Marina, get down, get the rail which is going to Mile 2, and then from Mile 2 probably take a BRT, right? So the whole idea, you're right, the cowrie card will be used on all of these different modes, and that's how we intend to integrate it as well. And it will help with the fare structure, because the truth about it is that water transportation compared to other modes is slightly more expensive because of the cost components.
Yeah.
But the cowrie card is going to sink. And I mean, you spoke about lighthouses. I mean, I can understand with that. And to be honest, one of the things we want to do, of course, I'm sure you heard about the E1 boat race which we had the other, I mean, about 2 weeks ago.
On that.
Yeah. So we want to ensure that we get the commercial activities going on during the day, and then in certain areas, especially within the Falomo via Ikoyi, we will allow night travel, because beyond going to Ilashe, I mean, there are a few resorts now we are also thinking about what to do, but we must ensure that not only do we light up, we ensure that the operators themselves would abide by the rules and the regulations. But the problem we have with night travel is that people have drunk, they've drank all kinds of things. I mean, and then they're coming back. And then yeah, so I mean, this is
science students.
Yes, you get it, and fish and all these things. Yeah, so we also want to be careful with all of that. But yeah, so it's really going to integrate through the cowrie card seamlessly. That's what it's going to do. That's the cowrie card.
Sorry to ask this. How is the return of investment going to come? Is this money a grant? Is it a loan? And will you guys now use as a springboard to bring back some of the stakeholders that came in and they've had problems? People like the Uber boats of this world.
Yeah. Okay.
Is this going to be a pedestal for them to come back?
So what we're going to do, obviously, the state will own its own infrastructure, right? The ferries, and we have learned. The good thing about it is that the boss has gone ahead of us. So the mistake the boss makes, we're not making sure we're not making on the ferry. So the boss initially was going to say, okay, they're going to do a rent to own, but they realized that didn't really work. So it's more like a rent to operate. So the maintenance is on the state government. So all they're doing is taking the government assets, running it, making money. And the truth about it is about 70% of each ticket goes to the operator. So it will be a rent to operate on the ferries. That's how we're going to run the system.
Good stuff.
Right. Yep. Okay, well done. So I like that you talk about learning from previous, what has worked and what hasn't worked. It's what we call upon a number of times on this table, so it's great to see that. Now, how soon will the project take off? Yeah.
So today is actually a groundbreaking. Groundbreaking because we've actually secured the funding. All of the funding has actually been secured.
Excellent.
I want to ensure that it's used judiciously. So it will be a 5-year project, but then within now and the next 2 years, we intend to launch phase 1. And this phase 1 would then see, of course, a few of the ferries and then the terminals as well active. But of course, by 5 years, the full system of all the 78 ferries.
So are you telling me that very soon, Lagos will be almost traffic free?
No. So I like to always speak to this. I like to speak to this.
Of course, I'm just dreaming.
It will be wrong to say that Lagos will be traffic free because people keep coming into Lagos.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, New York
however,
is
like every other developed city, you give people options. That's what we're going to say. So with the waterways, you now have options, and you can easily say, I want to try the waterway. So you're not going to get it, but of course, but in shorter time. I mean, coming from Ikorodu is 25 minutes.
25 minutes here to VI.
Yeah, from Badagry is 30, 45 minutes. You know what I mean? So easily you'll be able to ensure that, look, you're getting to point A to point B in quick time, and you can now plan your journey well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Decide if you want to use the water, if you want to use the rail,
or you want to use the bus. I mean, it's going to be an exciting time. But
you didn't answer that question. I was like, is it a loan or a grant?
Okay, so
what are the terms? What's the reinvestment term? how long is it going to last for? Let's
sort of get that. Okay,
let's talk about the costs and the hidden charges and everything. I know it's not part of the brief, but accountability and people.
So really, I mean, it's going to be a loan, right?
Stuff.
And we intend that because obviously we have repayment as well, because there's a 7-year moratorium period as well for us to pay back the money, right? So it's going to be a loan, and then we give them, of course, over the next sort of 10 years, right, for them to be able to ensure that they're paying back that loan. But you know, even as much as it's a loan, water transportation anywhere in the world has government subsidies, one way or the other. So as much as we're giving them that loan, we're going to be ensuring that, you know, all the risks are mitigated for them so that they're not thoroughly exposed and then they can't really cope and deal with the sort of like investment and revenue. I mean, the revenue is protected. So really, it's going to be a loan, and it's going to be for 10 years, for them to pay back in 10 years.
Good stuff.
Sustainability. We always see fantastic projects getting started, not so much in Lagos State, but, you know, around Nigeria. Yeah. Great projects are initiated, they are flagged off, they work well for a limited period of time, and then various factors come to play. You know, when you look at an initiative such as this, of course, immediately you think about the maintenance of the vessels, you think about the sustainability around making sure the schedules work according to plan, you know, so many factors. So what have you put in place for sustainability and for long-term value beyond this administration to the next and the next and even to the next generation of Lagosians?
Well, I think sustainability is at the core of this entire project, and the reason why I say so is that so we have 3 funding partners: the AFD, the EIB, which is European Investment Bank. AFD is Agency for French Development, and we have the EU. Now, the only reason why the EU got involved in this project is because we are going to be building climate-friendly infrastructure, and we're going to be getting climate-friendly ferries. So it's going to be hybrid electric ferries. Now,
you're going to build them here?
No, so it will be a mix of.
But you're going to do skill transfer.
Largely, yeah, skill transfer largely, because we have 2 sort of construction shipyards, which would obviously be able to maintain. But they're going to come and train the local capacity for the next 2 years, and then they hand over and skill transfer. But to speak to what you said, for us is robust stakeholder engagement, and a lot of training is involved in this, because we want to ensure that, you know, that local boat operator in the next 2-3 years is able to be aware of all the advanced and modern ways of handling and maintaining those boats. And the fact that government also sits with the maintenance, it's going to be scheduled maintenance and ensuring that people, I mean, the operators adhere strictly to that. And to be honest, because hybrid electric ferries as well, the maintenance is much easier than fuel emission engines. So, yeah.
Okay. So another very most important part is, because I do a lot of water transport, is the raft. So you guys are going to be digging that deep in. Yes. Because you see, the interesting thing about Lagos water is you think it's very deep, but no, it's very shallow. I've got stuck in a boat many times that when they say come down, when you are fed and scared in the middle of the water, you come down, you see that it's just ground, very shallow.
Absolutely.
So that's also going to be another important part. You're going to have to dig and clear that out. Yeah. Then December period, January, water hyacinth issues that normally clogs on the engine.
Yes.
You're thinking of that. Are you going to be using environmental sort of like biological methods to treat water hyacinth and some other problems you will be encountering as regards that?
So the good thing about the ferries is that the ferries sail on water hyacinth. Water hyacinth will not impede the ferries at all.
So that means it's got no engine component.
I mean, it's not good, because I mean they're electric ferries, so they don't have those engines that are going to be at the back, right? That's one. Secondly, with water hyacinth, what we have been doing now is focusing on the areas where we have massive navigation around the Ikorodu areas, right? So we partnered with a company called Mitimeth. Right, we partnered with a company called Mitimeth, and Mitimeth transforms water hyacinth into marketable products.
Oh, good.
So she takes them and turns them into like arts and craft stuff, and so those are things we're looking to do. And also we even do it into something called biochar, which is like manure for farms as well. So we work with those 2 companies, but we plan to scale that up, because water hyacinth is, I mean, like you said, is really right. But we focus mainly on the areas where we know that, look, this is really going to impede a lot of passengers. But the good thing about the ferries, like I said, is that the ferries ride on water hyacinth without any issues whatsoever. But the current ones, of course, struggle with water hyacinth all the time.
All right, great. So finally, before we wrap up, what is the vision for when Omi Eko fully takes off? And by launch today, do you mean that after today we can start to use this boat, or would there be a time lapse before people can access this service?
So the time lapse, because like I said, it's a groundbreaking, but within the next 2 years we expect the influx. But of course, when you say the vision would be like, to see all our rice staff coming by ferries in the morning.
I love that.
Getting down, and then of course taking your last mile connectivity. But beyond that as well, the vision really is to have that intermodal transport system. That's what we want to see. And of course, it's safe, it's accessible, and of course, it's easy for people to use. And then beyond just transportation, also for trade and of course tourism as well on the weekends.
Excellent.
Thank you guys. Thank you.